The first weekend in the books, week 0, I guess it's being
week
called.
0.
But, okay. So they're going to do some superlatives, I guess. So who was your top team from the first weekend of college lacrosse here in 2020?
You can go a lot of different ways with this, or at least a couple of different ways, because Air Force obviously had such a big win, maybe the most notable win. But I'm going Maryland. You look at what this Maryland team did. They hung 23 goals on High Point. You don't look at Maryland as an offense traditionally in the last couple of years and look at them as a team that's going to hang 23 goals on another ranked opponent. And High Point came in ranked. I don't know if they really are a top 20 team. They were on the fringe for me in my voting. But to hang 23 goals on them is impressive. And Logan Wisnauskas really impressed me with 6 goals. He was a guy that I actually had in consideration for Player of the Week. So that offense really impressed me in the way they were able to pull away from High Point. It was a bit of a game in the beginning. High Point made a little bit of a run, and then Maryland just said, not today. So Maryland's my team of the week.
I think, actually, for me, what stuck out for Maryland was the defense. I sort of expected this from their offense this year with all that continuity, and I think seeing
But I'm glad they let them go, because sometimes they don't let them go, and they have the offense and the firepower, I think, to let them go and hang 20 goals on the team.
Well, they did, and they looked pretty good doing it, too. So Maryland's also my top team this week. And like I mentioned, the continuity with Maryland now, you've had that group of guys playing together for a couple of years. We've seen how well that works for a lot of different teams, especially a team with a program like Maryland now, where you've got these guys that really know each other well. We saw it, Penn sort of come out of nowhere with that group last season, and I think that's really going to pay dividends. They're a scary team. On the defensive side, a team like High Point who can score. I mean, Asher Nolting, one of the best scorers in the country as well. Nick Grill, a Marquette transfer, I thought played well for them on defensive side of the ball. He played 3 years at Marquette, came over to Maryland this year. And then the goalie, Brandow, Chris, right? The twin of Matt. Another transfer from Georgetown, 15 saves. He didn't play all of last season with Georgetown, but when he did, he came up big. 15 saves in that Big East championship game last year. He might be the key to their success this year. If they can score the way they're doing and he can make enough stops, that's a scary, scary team, Maryland, and could be a favorite.
So, top player. Who's your top player?
Who was my top player? Brandon Dodd from Air Force, I guess.
He's your guy.
Yeah, he's my
guy, too.
4 goals, 4 assists against Duke. I really liked how Air Force played in this game. Even when they were down, I mean, I watched most of this game. Even when they were down in the first half, they were having fun. They were doing BTBs all over the place. They had a swagger about them. I think Dodd really helped with that. A kid out of Logan, Utah. So he's got that Rocky Mountain feel, really perfect for this Air Force team. And as a freshman, doing that against Duke, we always talk about guys playing it. We talked about Chris Gray with Evan yesterday. Said, he did that against a Patriot League opponent. Brandon Dodd did this against an ACC opponent and looked really good doing it, which I think says a lot.
That's what stands out to me, and that's why he's my player of the week as well, is that you look at there were some big point totals. We mentioned Wisnauskas. Obviously, Grant Ament put up tons of points. Mac O'Keefe had 6 goals. People put up points, but he's doing it as a freshman and just fearless. He threw a BTB pass for a beautiful goal. And not only that, this Air Force team went down by, I think it was 5-0. Did not waver.
It was 5-0,
Bounces right back, never gave up on the game. And for Air Force to go to Durham and take on a top 10 team in Duke and do that because so often with these upsets, you see that team go up early and then the team that was supposed to win have to come back and just fall short.
Right.
This was vice versa. They came back against the Blue Devils and did it. Brandon Dodd, one of the reasons why.
Yeah, so that same game, I'm going to stay there for my surprise of the week.
Okay.
And my surprise is Duke losing in February.
Why?
We
see this every year.
We see it every year. It's happened, 11 in the last 12 years. Duke has lost at least the 10 in the last whatever. It's been a lot. And I'm saying this because Duke shouldn't lose in February, no matter what. We talked to Evan yesterday.
Why not?
Evan Washburn talked about how Coach Janowski doesn't really game plan just yet. They work a lot on fundamentals this time of year. But at the same time, Duke's got a talent. I mean, every year they're a Final Four contender. I just feel like I'm always surprised when they lose. I mean, even whether it's February or not, especially in a game like this, it's not an ACC opponent. I'm just surprised that they lost to Air Force in February.
They didn't have Joe Robertson, which is a big piece, your top leading scorer from last year. And I know they got pieces, but
one of the best recruiting classes in the country. Don't forget about that.
Yeah, but you lose that piece, and it's going to take a while for the freshmen to get used to the college game and the step up.
It didn't hurt Air Force.
It didn't.
Brandon
You're
Dodd,
right.
we just talked about him.
But it's more of a coin flip in February than it is in May. And
I agree with that.
This team's different in February than they are in May. My surprise, I'm going a little off the radar here.
Okay.
I'm going to a New England rivalry. Boston University and Providence College played on Saturday.
Yeah.
The last 3 years, this game was decided by just one goal. Some thriller. So I'm thinking, all right, this is a game you got to keep an eye on. It's always a fun one to watch. Providence just handled BU at BU. Final score was 12-5. Providence really jumped up. I believe they were up 9-2 at one point. It was a pretty dominant performance from the Friars. And it's not the 4-game losing streak for Providence against BU. So this was my surprise. I did not see this being a blowout. I saw this being a competitive game. This could be good news for Providence moving forward. I know BU's lost Chris Gray, and they have some transition in terms of trying to figure out what this team's going to be this year when you lose a couple of big offensive pieces like they did. But shout out to Providence. This is a nice win for him.
You see Grillo, he had four, really did a nice job as their quarterback. Leahy, a guy who missed for the most of last year, came in and scored a couple points too. The thing that got me about Providence is that they're big and physical, especially on the defensive end. They got some big guys, and I think that's going to cause some problems this year in the Big East. And I think they're a contender too. The way they looked against BU, it was a surprise, a little bit of a pleasant surprise, I guess, if you will, as good as they looked.
For Friars fans. All right, finally. Play of the week.
Ooh.
And I'm going to go here first.
Okay.
I'm going up to Happy Valley because I mentioned Grant Ament. And
had to give him a shout out here and there.
Dude put up 10 points in his first game. And it was like it's just so simple. And this was just gorgeous. The BTB feed to Mac O'Keefe. And then this shot is just stupid. Like from about, 15 yards out. And it's like it's nothing. You watch Mac O'Keefe and Grant Ament play together, and it almost looks unfair how easy they make scoring college lacrosse goals look. And this is going to be all season.
Don't forget, last year was Grant Ament had missed the entire season before that, and that's how well they played together. Now, they've got a whole other year. They got a whole other year to break some records.
Yeah, this is going to be fun to watch. What's your play?
Mine is from the Duke Air Force game, but it's on the Duke side of things. Let's roll the tape because this was awesome. Quigley laying the wood.
Yeah, big time hit.
Braden Host there, the goalie, and then Joey Manaum scoops up the ground ball. There's a little roll inside, and finishes it off. So the ride working for Duke in that situation really well. I mean, that's a clean hit. It was fine. I mean, Braden Host got back up, so I'm okay with it. And then Manaum had to finish it off. I mean, you can't have one without the other, which is kind of what I like about it. Yeah.
Nice play.
Play of the week.
Duke needed a couple more of those.
Can't wait for this weekend. More decent matchups this week, and we'll find some more good things to say about them.
Yeah.